Hi, everybody. Well, this story really kind of annoys me um, because it shouldn't happen. This just should not happen. And it's a story about the Reeses, who has a disability, booked a disability cabin, a fully accessible wheelchair cabin, and then had not one, but two cruises canceled on them for the same reason from two different cruise lines. So the couple was getting ready to go on a Cunard vacation when all of a sudden they started seeing on social media and on Facebook pages and stuff like this stories from the community that people were showing up at the cruise port and being turned away, people in wheelchairs and scooters, because there were not enough evacuation chairs on board. Because by law and everything in the UK, etc., they have to have an evacuation chair for every guest in a wheelchair in case of an emergency and they have to get off the ship and there's an etc. They have to have these chairs available. There's only so much storage on a cruise ship and so many places. Well, apparently they didn't have one. So the couple contacted their travel agent, and the travel agent then contacted the cruise line, and well, they were informed that their Cunard cruise had been canceled. Well, that cruise is about £5,000, which in Canadian is about 600 million. But then, after they refunded the money, the deposit was non-refundable, and the cruise line Cunard wouldn't refund the deposit. £800. So picture $1,000 of your deposit that they canceled the cruise on you. They weren't giving back. And then they said, oh my goodness, well, wait a minute, we have another cruise coming up on P&O Cruise Lines. And then they contacted P&O Cruise Lines, and guess what? That cruise was canceled from them as well. All for the exact same reason about this chair. Now, as I'm reading this story, I'm going, well, wait a minute. If they book an accessible cabin, is that not what is that automatically not supposed to say, okay, the person in that cabin has to be in a wheelchair, which means we need to have an evacuation chair for that person? It stands to reason, right? They're not letting people stay in those cabins who do not have a wheelchair. You have to fill out a form saying that yes, or even make a statement, yes, I am in a wheelchair, I do need this. Now, I do understand that some people book these cabins because they have issues walking and stuff like that, and sometimes they're allowed to do that, but in most cases you need to have a scooter or a wheelchair. Well, after much negotiation and discussion and everything, Cunard was contacted by different news media and outlets, etc. Now, both Carnival and both P&O Cruise Lines and Cunard are owned by Carnival Corporation UK, and so the couple started explaining, saying that, look, we filled out the form online saying that we need that we're in a wheelchair, etc., and we sent it in. Now, a spokesperson for the company has reached out, and they said that we acknowledge that additional checks from our team. Ooh, that's a bad acknowledgement right there. Following their booking, could have ensured the travelers completed and returned the required online medical form to the cruise line in relation to the requirement of an evac chair. So apparently the form you fill out saying that you're in a wheelchair isn't the form that you fill out that you need an evacuation chair? I haven't heard of this, but then again, I'm not somebody who travels in a scooter or anything like that, and I haven't heard of this happening in North America. But wait a minute, why not have it both attached to the same form? If the form that they sent in, you didn't receive it, that is on the cruise line saying contact these people. It's not like there's 200,000 of them on every ship, right? It should not be that difficult to send out another email requesting, saying, we need this form or your cruise could be canceled. But I don't get it. It's also, when they sent in the form, is there a reply having an acknowledgement that it was received? Because if there's no automatic email saying that we've received it, then how do the people know you got it? So there's all kinds of things I'm seeing here. Now, on Cunard, they did finally reimburse the deposit, even though it was a non-refundable deposit, as a gesture of goodwill. Well, I would hope so. I would hope that if you cancel somebody's cruise and you admit that you didn't have any backup checks to ensure forms were filled for people who need to fill out forms for your cruise, it's not necessarily a goodwill gesture. It's more of the least we could do gesture as far as I'm concerned. So I have some questions for people out there. If you are in a scooter, in a mobility scooter, and you're in the UK, do you get a second form, or is it the one form, the form that everybody fills out, as soon as you book a handicap stateroom, that you say, yes, I'm going to be in a wheelchair or a scooter, here you go. Because I understand how a cruise line needs to know how many people on board have this, but I've never heard of them canceling cruises because of this, especially cruises in the future that haven't even happened yet. I mean, if it was as simple as, oh, okay, they didn't have this form and everything, but now we know about the situation, let's just add one more chair to the cruise and we don't have to cancel these people's cruise. I don't get it. I don't understand the whole situation. It's left me sort of baffled. And I like I said, luckily for me, I've never seen this situation in North America. I've never had anybody contact me saying, we couldn't get on board even though we filled out the form for the cabin. But I've heard people not filling out forms and then having trouble. But when you fill out the form and send it in, it's usually smooth sailing. And that's what's kind of confusing about this. In the UK, is there a separate form that I don't know about? Because I don't book UK cruises. I don't know. I'm a Canadian travel agent. And I'm putting that question out. I have sent out some feelers to my contacts with the cruise lines, and hopefully I'll get some answers in the future. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think it's on the cruise line that when somebody books a handicap cabin to make sure that they know what forms they have to fill out and make sure that they're filled out ahead of time? Or is it 100% on the people, even though there might be another form that they didn't even know they had to fill out? I'm perplexed. Let me know in the comments down below. Again, I've never heard of this.